Thanks for joining us here at Mary Makes the Call. I'm Mary, and I'm here all college football season talking about football. If you've been with us for the past few weeks, you may have noticed that we didn't have a show last week. We were on a bye, but we are back, and we are here to finish strong the college football season. There's only a few more weeks left, not many, like 2 or 3. So we hope you stick around and join us for it.
Did you forget somebody?
Before I move on, meet the head coach of this channel, my sister.
Hey everybody, hi, thanks for sticking with us to this far, only a little bit farther, like 3rd and 10, and then the season will be over and then we'll have some other little surprises for you. But stick with us, it's going to be fun. We're getting to the good part now. Yeah. Mare?
All right, so let's see what happened. Let's talk about what happened last week. We had a couple of major upsets that happened last week. Starting with Ole Miss beat Georgia. That puts the Bulldogs at 7-2 now. That was a big loss.
That's a big takedown.
Yeah, that is a big takedown. And then Georgia Tech handed Miami Hurricanes their first loss of the season, dropping them down to 8-1 now.
Ooh.
Yep. University of Virginia gave Pittsburgh their second straight loss of the season. So now Pittsburgh is at 7-2 as well. And University of Virginia is 5-4, as we would not have expected UVA to have beaten Pitt. So that's big news also. And then the 3-6 Kansas Jayhawks beat the 7-1 Iowa State team, dropping them 7-2.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Go Jayhawks. Yeah.
BYU continues their unbeaten streak after a controversial call. They were playing Utah Utes, and BYU was down. They were down by 2 points with a minute and a half left in the game. They were deep in their own end zone, or deep in their own side of the field. They had the ball, but it was 4th down. Obviously they had to go for it. And the quarterback gets sacked. So you would have thought the game's over and Utah would have won the game. But Utah got called for a holding penalty. So that gives BYU a whole new set of downs, gives them new life. They go down the field. And, of course, they kick the field goal and end up winning the game by 1.
Wow, all based on that controversial call.
Yep.
Jeez, I hate to be the player that jumped off sides.
Yeah, holding, yeah. Even if he did hold, maybe he didn't. And, who knows?
That's controversial.
That's why. Yep. Alabama Crimson Tide. They rolled into LSU's Death Valley and handled the Tigers pretty well, beating them 42-13.
That's pretty well.
That is. There was a lot of expectation that would have been a better game, and a lot of expectation that LSU would have won that game. But Alabama won that one. The College Football Selection Committee has convened, and they are in their second week of rankings. They rank the teams every week. And the top 25. So the top 12 will end up going to the playoffs. So they keep changing based on their wins or losses. So we'll talk about that more probably next week, or as it gets closer, probably maybe 2 weeks. And then there were four remaining unbeaten teams, Laurie.
Wow! Out of all these teams,
there are only 4 that have not lost a game all season long.
That's amazing.
The first one being the Oregon Ducks. They have 2 games left on their schedule, and they're going to play Wisconsin and Washington, so they should be able to finish their season strong and remain undefeated. The BYU Cougars, they have 3 more games left on their schedule. They're playing Kansas, Arizona State, and the Houston Cougars. Arizona State should be the one that gives them the toughest time, most challenging time, because they're 7-2, so that's probably more of the competitive game that will happen. So if they can get past Arizona State, they should be able to just finish out their season with undefeated as well. Houston Cougars are 4-5. I'm not going to rule out Kansas Jayhawks, because Kansas Jayhawks just beat Iowa State, so anything can happen.
That's right.
So, Army Black Knights, they are undefeated and they have 3 games left on their schedule as well. Their next game is Notre Dame, and then they play UTSA, and then they wrap up the season with the traditional Army-Navy game. Now, out of those teams, Notre Dame should give them a run for their money, and I suspect Notre Dame will win that game.
Query.
Yes.
What's UTSA?
UTSA is the University of Texas, San Antonio.
Okay, I thought it was that insurance company that Rob Gronkowski is trying to get into, but I guess not.
Who?
You know, Rob G.
So,
And I'm Polish and I can't pronounce his name. Okay.
okay, and rounding out our 4th team of unbeaten teams is Indiana Hoosiers. They are the first time in the history of University of Indiana. They are undefeated all season long.
So now everyone knows who the Hoosiers are.
Yeah, well, if you watched a few shows ago.
Important here's a Hoosier.
All right. So anyways, they have 2 more games left on their schedule. They're on a bye this week, but their next game is Ohio State, and that's going to be a big deal. So, and at Ohio State too, I believe. If they can get past Ohio State and beat them, then they should cruise on out of here, out of the season, being undefeated, because their last game is the 1-8 Purdue Boilermakers.
1-8.
1-8.
All right, there's still room for improvement. They could become 2.
Lil Jeanette could. So here's your time for so
Okay.
So that brings us to our middle of the show reminder. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, please. It would really help us out. Would love to have you subscribe and like us.
So, I'd like to be liked.
Anyways, coming up on November 16th, big game, the marquee game is Tennessee at Georgia. We have number 7 Tennessee going into number 12 Georgia. This rivalry is huge. It dates back to 1899.
Oh, well, then it's not that far back now.
Right, yeah, 20 years or whatever. 1899, Georgia has beat Tennessee in the past 7 out of 8 times they played each other. The last 8 times they played each other.
I was going to say, they only played each other 7 or 8 times.
No.
99.
And Georgia leads the series 28-23, and they tied twice in their history playing each other.
That should be fun to watch.
It will be great to watch. I'll be watching it. And if Georgia loses that game, that could potentially knock them out of playoff contention.
Wow, they come so far and they get knocked out. But I guess that's the way it is near the end.
Yeah, they've won the last 2 national championships.
Oh, then.
So,
Time to give somebody else a chance.
exactly. So, other big game, LSU and Florida. I wouldn't be talking about this game. Florida's not doing that great, but it is a big rivalry. It's been around since 1937. Florida has won 33 of those games. LSU has won 34, and they've tied 3 times.
Wow, close. Huh?
Yep. LSU has won the past 5 meetings, so they're probably going to end up winning, making it 6.
You never know.
You never know, but it's going to be LSU. And then we have Clemson at Pittsburgh. Again, I wouldn't, bring this up as a game to watch, but both teams are 7-2, and Clemson is favored to win. And then we have Texas at Arkansas. Again, would not bring this up because Arkansas is not having a great season. They are 5-4, and Texas is 8-1. And at the beginning of the season, they were projected to go all the way to national champions, and they still are. But it's a huge rivalry, and Texas has not beaten Arkansas since 2008. So, and Arkansas won the last 2 meetings.
All right.
So we'll see what happens. And that brings us to our trivia question. Laurie, you want to recap your super hard question you had for the audience last week?
Of course I would. Okay, so the last trivia question that I posed was the following. What was the longest football game played since 1996? When, who, and what was the score? Well, the when was October 23rd, 2021. Not that long ago. And it was between Illinois and Penn State. Now, they went for 9 overtimes to finally get to the final score, which was having Illinois win 20-18. But 9 overtimes to get to that. You'd think the score would be higher, but it wasn't. It was a real close game. And I think people are still waiting for the end of it. I don't know.
Anyways, that's going to wrap up our little show here for this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us here at Mary Makes the Call. Wait a second, I'm getting the finger that says, no, we're not done yet.
Mary, we have a trivia question for this week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Slipped my mind. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. The stadium for 2 schools are referred to as Death Valley. Who were the 2 teams that play in those 2 stadiums? Do you know? Do you know, Mary? You didn't even know we had another trivia question.
We had another trivia question.
Which reminds me, hey,
Huh.
did you hear what happened at the end of the Miami game?
Oh.
Well, 2 snails came out from the end of the Miami game, and they were going to the parking lot, and they got mugged. So they called the police. The police came, and they said, okay, did you see anything? Do you remember anything? And one of the snails said, look, all I know is there were 2 turtles, and the rest is a blur because of everything happened so quickly.
Well, thank you for joining us here at Mary Makes the Call. That's going to wrap up this episode. We only have a few more weeks left to go. There's only like 2 or 3 more games or weeks to watch, and then we move into the conference championships, and then we have the bowl games, and then national championships. But we'll be here all through it. We hope you're here with us too, and watch some football. Watch that Tennessee game. That'll be a great game. Thanks, and have a great week.
Thanks, everybody. I'll be here too. We're almost done. Stay with us.
Hit that like button.